shadows tall, and out of flame reminds me you live in dreams of mine, dying to see you all the time, see you all the time, trapped in memory, haunting alone in love, haunting alone in love. I'll see you in my dreams. I feel you in dreams.
Oh, we're about to get started. Hit that like, share the show.
Leaves fall dead and lovers cry, and in my arms you die tonight, and now the dawn bleeds with my pain. Alone in love I'll be again. You remind me you live in dreams of time, in years that were never mine, trapped in memory, haunting alone in love, haunting alone in love. I'll see you in my dreams. I feel you in dreams.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Let's just get started. How you guys doing? Welcome. Glad to have you here. Let's let the chat room roll in. It's nice to be able to schedule the show and people can gather a couple of minutes ahead of time. It's good. You doing all right? You feeling okay on this crazy day? It's one of those days, CSL, where and Andrea, thank you so much, and Mark P and Mark C and everybody who helps out modding this crazy, sprawling spider of a show that I have over multiple channels. Somebody was asking about that song. It'll be out this fall. That's part of the seismograph record. Still in process. So, yeah. And on the highway to hell. Yeah. On the highway to hell. Right. Yeah. So, lots of stuff to go through today, and way too many clips. Breaking kind of news right now. I think the biggest one is that the National Defense Authorization Act just failed to make it through, along with the rules package and other stuff, because of a mutiny amongst the Republicans in the House, and a couple of folks not voting at all. This would be members of the Congress. This is on. I love that it's called on agreeing to the resolution, because not agree. That's what's happening. Not agree. Not agreeing. No, this is a total lack of agreeing, especially amongst the Republicans. And it's an odd pack of people that you would see in, kind of joining over. I mean, there's some like Epstein overlap, but certainly Massey and Mace and a couple of others. But this is just kind of a nice piece of thing. This is what apparently, and I've never seen one before, but a massive mandate looks like, where the leader of the party has total control over everyone in it, and it's a massive movement, and probably the greatest movement in the history of politics. That's exactly what you would expect to see, is members of that movement, by a decent margin, shutting down the rules and the National Defense Authorization Act. Half of them, it seems, over the Senate not passing the Save America Act, because it will, we'll get to that too, because it will it will make some Republicans lose their seats. Quite frankly, I don't know why this is shocking to maggots anywhere, and maybe somebody in the chat can explain it to me. But does your rank and file maggot not know that the flyover states specifically are called that because of the lack of cities and the lot and the huge amounts of land in between said cities, and a lot of mail-in voting happens in those areas, especially the sort of QAnon adjacent, Ruby Ridge remembering folks who don't want to set foot in a Fed building or around an official thing, or they don't want to be tracked or some shit like that. So they mail their stuff in. Is there a lot of drop off? Like drop boxes are huge in Democratic districts and big cities because I think a lot of Democrats have distrust in Trump's postmaster. So there's a tendency for us to drop our ballots off at the thing, not actually go in and do the voting in the thing, but vote by mail at home, get your ballot, and then drop it off yourself, right? Increasingly, though, and this was sort of a big spike during the pandemic, that was the methodology. I'll vote from home, but I'm still going to drop it off in a drop box, which is why they were against drop boxes as well. But now Democrats, by and large, are very comfortable either, again, filling out their ballot at home and dropping it off in person where they have somebody checking in a lot of states. They'll check and make sure it's you dropping it off or you and you're married to the person that you're dropping off for or whatever. And then, but a lot of us are just voting in person. In the primaries, I dropped off Summers and voted in person this time around. So, yeah. Let's see. Somebody says Democrats have mistrust in Trump. Period. Full stop. Yes, I agree. But what I'm saying is that a lot of our distrust with him doesn't materially affect our lives, and it does in terms of how much do you trust that if you voted and you dropped it off on election day, which is the law and has been reaffirmed by the SCOTUS, how much do you trust that he wouldn't have, especially in if he decided to run for a third term, which he's not going to do, but, or, even in the midterms to keep himself from getting impeached, wouldn't try to interfere with, slow roll the mail so that it goes outside that 5-day window or doesn't count at all or doesn't show up at all. That's, I think, whether it's a legit concern or it's paranoia, it doesn't matter. It's a real feeling amongst Democrats, and it's driving them to the polls more. And the irony is that the balance of people who vote by mail used to favor Republicans in a lot of ways pre-COVID because of the rural nature of the vote. And a lot of Republicans still live in states like that, Wyoming, Montana, Missouri, Kansas, places like that, or they're in districts like, the eastern side of California, or they're in Idaho or some shit like that. And they know, or Washington state, let's say, and they know if the only way they're going to be able to vote really and on their own schedule without having to drive an hour into town on a specific day is to vote by mail. And they just do it. And they always did. Look at Colorado. I mean, a sort of quintessential sort of, at least viewing themselves as like a cowboy libertarian state. And they're entirely vote by mail. And so you'll notice you won't hear Boebert saying we've got rigged elections because she got elected by and large by mail. Voters. Just kidding. Just saying, boy, I got to watch an hour and a half of the MK Ultra thing today at the congressional hearings. Boy, was that pathetic. And their questions were just fabulous. Yeah, like two guys who wrote conspiracy theory books and somebody from the NIH just there to go, I work at the NIH. We don't really do that kind of stuff. It's super funny. Anyways, let me show you something else though. And this is give you an idea of how many of these. Yeah, Jesus. Benny Johnson, always the original, has his kind of standard fare rubber stamp AI thumbnails that he does up here. And there's Trump with the burning citizenship and Clarence Thomas, whose gavel is on fire. Not quite sure. And Matt Walsh who's very mad, and I don't, or whatever. Maybe plays a clip from him and he just wants it included. And Benny's yelling at Trump, it looks like, or at Matt or at Clarence, or they're all yelling at us. Trump looks like he's yelling, but like is wondering why Benny's yelling at him. Matt's got a shit eyeline. I don't know where he's looking. He's just kind of it's like a glamour shot. And then he uses the same one for, where is it? This one? Yeah, there he goes. Same Trump, but now with Amy Coney Barrett and Obama laughing over his shoulder. Same. And then, in case you don't notice, it's Amy Coney Barrett burning an American flag. He has a red arrow pointing at it. My God, man. If there was any irony in these things, you'd be safe. But these are sincerely pathetic. And then, of course, there's another Amy Coney Barrett, and she's burning a thing that just says election integrity on it. Like there's an official document of election integrity. And they're mad at each other, and he's mad at her or at Trump. He's yelling past them. I think somebody's taking his parking space, I think is where that's happening there. And then, of course, he did have a big victory, and that was very happy, is that he can fire people that had agencies, and they've got fired stamped on their foreheads, and they're walking out with their stuff, and the whole you're fired thing, which was not his line. That was from Mark Burnett and the producers at The Apprentice. They came up with that. Trump was famously didn't choose who came and went on the show at all, almost had no say in it, if any. I honestly don't think he gave a shit. And then ultimately, even in the White House, he either promotes people up and out of something instead of firing them because he's such a wuss, or he has somebody else do it. Ugh. It's not even it. If it was his favorite line, he'd say it right. You ever seen, like we've seen him go, I tell him I lied, you're fired, get out of here, you're fired, you're fired, fired. Like, shut the fuck up and just say the line. It's a quote for a reason. It's kind of like in Die Hard, if one of our favorite lines that we're saying to all the people who are just kind of joining the current reality is this one. Hold on.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Right, that line. If John McClane go, welcome to the party, pal. It's about time you showed up and got here. This is the party, man. This is definitely a party. Like that. See what I mean? It kind of fuck it up. That's what Trump does whenever he does you're fired. He always just gilds the lily, as it were. We'll get into those because they're useless and stupid in a moment. But hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. But first, or I guess second, technically, maybe this is a question that I think is being asked all across the MAGA sphere. Maybe this is this next question is something that they've just been struggling with. And it might be that you've got the leader of the Republican Party is such a wuss, he can't even use his own you're fired thing against a woman. Like Tulsi Gabbard wasn't even fired. There was this kind of like soft rolling, let go, bag of sand, golden idol swap out like Raiders of the Lost Ark. And they just kind of just whimpered out, not like I'm putting my foot down. And even, what was it? Kristi Noem, when she got booted, they just moved her to some other South American, almost the equivalent. It was the same board that was sort of put together. It's got a different name that Harris was forming with the South American countries to deal with migration before it gets here. That was already put together. They just rebranded it and added her to the board so that she could slink away. Because the problem with saying you're fired is that with it, there's a connotation that you own hiring them in the first place, that you have to admit that you hired somebody who couldn't do the job or wouldn't do the job or was a piece of shit. And so that calls your judgment into question. So Trump hates saying you're fired because he'd have to admit defeat on these people that he had very well respected, everybody respected, right? That kind of shit. Okay. But and maybe that's what Roseanne is getting at in this new, very pink video. Whew. where she's saying "Make men men again." Now she's probably saying this with her son in the room. He runs her show, I think, and maybe she answers the question right out of the gate. Who knows?
Hey, hi, everybody. Boy, do I have news for you.
Yes, and the news is you have entered your Marlon Brando moo phase.
It's going to be a fantastic bit of information coming your way today.
Yes. Are you talking out of the back of your head? Why is the mic back there? Never mind.
You know how I'm always complaining about the men of today being too soft, too scared of everything, acting like the girls did back in my day, and the girls are acting like the men. I don't know. Everything's all messed up.
Oh, you mean like when women sing the national anthem, grab their crotch and spit like the men, and how? I don't know how that got started.
And so I'm happy to have these two guests, and they're here to talk about, how to make men men again, which we really need.
Oh, thank God. I was wondering because having this long Jesus hair and working out and being healthy like I do, I was concerned I was becoming too. I was about to say metrosexual, but I'm wearing a Metro shirt, so it's kind of a little on the nose.
I want you to listen up to everything they're saying, son.
Yeah, I'm sure these guys will be putting me to shame with their machismo.
Because you have some of these problems. What with, obviously having stress and other things like you have because you're too fat. So anyways.
Oh, she just called her son fat and that she's just shaming him. So one of the things I think that, leads to, I guess, cucked men is abusive, dismissive, unloving mothers. But we'll get to that later. It's so funny, Mom, when you just emasculate me in front of everyone regularly. It's just, I enjoy it.
Yeah, this is probably going to benefit me more than you because, you don't.
Yeah, because she's manly enough.
Don't need testosterone. You have enough with your chin hair.
I have way too much testosterone. My facial hair is out of control, as you know.
Yeah, my mom shaves with a Mach 3.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Anyway, I'm in need of it. That is true.
Japanese girl razors. But
well,
anyway.
I'm excited you guys are here because, it is something we talk about all the time, and it was a cool product, and we thought, what the heck? Let's just highlight.
Oh, my God. It's an ad. This whole video is an ad. What do you think it is? Let's take, all right, chat room. I'm going to go with Turkesterone and Tonkat Ali and I don't know, maca powder or something. Whatever this your standard mix is from GNC. And mixed with dick pills. It's either that or like truck stop dick pills. Pecker pills. I like Pecker pills better. The Pecker pills one. So it's either going to be like a standard formulation of that shit or Pecker pills.
Let's skip doing an ad and get people to know the people behind it and the product itself, because it is super important. We always say if men were men again,
they'd not live in a room furnished with leftover shit from their mother's childhood. Sorry, you have to see this. Their mother's childhood and a crucifix, wine bar in a violin case, and a room air conditioner and a sewing machine. That you call yourself a man and you sleep in a room with a sewing machine? Why? So it could sew your vagina shut? This is stupid.
Pretty much.
Wait, I just saw somebody say it's ball tanning. I think Tucker would probably sue them.
A lot better.
Yeah, everything would be fixed. That'd be it.
It'd be a lot saner too, because if these men could grow some testosterone, if you know what I mean, and
I do know what you mean. It's you do grow it in your testosteronicals, I think they're called.
Tell their wives to sit down and shut up. It'd be
That'll do it.
A hell of a better world. That's my opinion. And I say that with love.
Sit down and shut up, Roseanne. Why are we listening to you? Why isn't her son telling you to mind your fucking business, lady? I'm just saying there's a little bit of hypocrisy in this video.
My 3 daughters and my daughters
Half son.
in law and all that, but my God, they've got to shut up. So, anyways, our guests are Dr.
2 men.
Fong, and he is the medical director of Neutronics Labs and also the medical director of Sierra Integrative Medical Center in Reno, Nevada.
Where all of our medical care is a gamble. You get your pills out of a slot machine.
And also is with us Ron Oliver, who's a fitness coach.
Quit it. Macho. Look out behind you. All right.
The coach of a lot of big athletes like boxer Roy Jones Jr. He's good.
One of the greatest. One of the good.
Isn't he a country singer?
Yeah. So let's get right into it. Now,
so you're basically telling us that boxer Roy Jones Jr. has low T? Is that what we're trying to?
Dr. Fong, can you please tell our audience what your product IGF-1 is? What it says that it's deer antler velvet extract. Why
I win. That's what I said. It's the same shit. The maca stuff that you get at the
people know about this?
They do. If they go to GNC and look in the like, why isn't my dick working shelf? Not that I've ever. You guys know I'm. If you've watched my Lapper shows, I have no interest. My dick stops working. I'm going to leave it that way. Nature knows what it's doing.
I'm glad you asked me that. So IGF-1, also known as insulin-like growth factor 1, it's the master growth hormone. It's responsible for
But yeah, it's also not his. It's something your body produces.
every action that you associate with human growth hormone. In fact, when you have human growth hormone in your body, your liver is stimulated to make IGF-1.
What? Do tell. Also cancer.
And the IGF-1 helps to grow tissues, repair tissues, and even rejuvenate or regenerate tissues. And
this kind of tissue, though. The tissue in your pants.
it's really important to understand that as we get older, we don't have as much growth factor
Did he just say as we get ogre? That's not nice.
issues. And it's really important to understand that as we get older, we don't have
I mean, he is Zoom calling with Roseanne. As we get ogre. It just slipped out.
growth factor. I'm sorry, human growth hormone in our bodies. So this IGF-1 starts to
What do we have instead? Horse growth factor? Well, some of us.
taper off, and then we start having problems maintaining our muscle tone. We have problems like having more inflammation in our body. We have all kinds of other issues that become imbalanced. So by using the Neutronics Labs IGF-1 product, which is a deer antler velvet, we actually can replenish it naturally. In fact, this product is
I take that, and it makes me full of energy.
actually pure deer antler that's growing. It's a very proper
I hope you don't have it in suppository form. That's my concern.
time that you have to harvest. So as you probably know, deer lose their antlers and they grow a whole new rack in
Ladies, do not take this.
about 110 days. And if you harvest it right at the mid mark, about 55 days or whatever, you've got all this growth matrix inside that rapidly growing but properly growing deer antler. It's all straight from God,
And you could give a guy a nice rack.
right? It's a good plan.
Is this like a walrus dick? Jennifer, it is nothing like a walrus dick.
It's making it happen exactly the way it's supposed to. This perfect symbiosis
You know what my favorite thing is? The label that he clearly stuck on this bottle himself.
of all these growth factors.
You know what this reminds me of is the scene in A Million Ways to Die in the West, where they're looking at the stomach bitters, and it's like It's got like cocaine, whiskey, flannel. Wait, this has bits of shirt in it.
Supportive.
Yeah, those things. Okay, all right. Deer Antler Velvet's been around for a long time. We don't need to watch the rest of that, but I think we've discovered why the Roseanne's the men around Roseanne are ahem such pussies, as she likes to put it. Now, I don't want you to take this as a 1-to-1. All right, I don't want you to think. Obviously, she saw a Dinesh D'Souza video or a picture of him and reacted so much that she had to go out and find a deer antler salesman and get him on the show because macho man. I mean, all right. Why does God permit earthquakes besides the fact that the earth needs virgins? So if we didn't have earthquakes, we wouldn't throw women in volcanoes to be. Yeah, that's how we know the earth is hungry. That's its stomach grumbling. Why do I'm this is long. I don't think we can possibly get through this. I mean, obviously because gays, right? Is that what we're gonna go with? Okay, it's either gays or abortion, and I don't know why countries that don't allow abortion or gays have as many, if not more, earthquakes than the ones that do. I'm just saying we need a double-blind study of the deer antler fuzz and the God is punishing us with earthquakes theory. So hold on. So let's see. Sorry, the country music that he ripped off from Glenn Beck over top of his. I mean, it looks like it's a line of luggage. Who the fuck thinks Dinesh D'Souza, when he walks in a room, thinks that's playing in his head? Do you like my pink suit? All right. Oh my God.
Debbie and I are watching in horrified fascination the scenes of suffering and devastation in
Horrified fascination?
Venezuela. This is a double earthquake, one earthquake immediately following on another, and both wreaking tremendous havoc on an already ruined and disorganized country.
Gee, who ruined and disorganized them recently? I can't imagine.
Fortunately, Debbie's relatives, the few that she still has there, are okay.
Right, because they live in nicer areas away from all this.
But the capital city, Caracas, and its surrounding areas are not okay. The country is not okay. The death toll is expected to reach 100,000. Obviously, these natural disasters can strike anywhere, but because of Debbie's connection to Venezuela, we're vested in this one.
Right, so when this happens in other countries, you don't give a shit.
Debbie showed me a poignant scene of a construction worker digging through the rubble, looking for survivors and bodies, and finding a Bible. He stops and prays. Another video shows a woman trapped under the
rubble yelling, "Hey, put down the Bible and get me the fuck out of here."
rubble. In her last moments of life, another man asks her to hang on. She gives thanks to God. I repeat, she gives thanks to God in her situation. Remarkable.
Crean en Dios primero que nada. La bendición de Dios. Dios es grande y misericordioso.
I'm thinking to myself, who can praise God while trapped under a collapsed building? Who can give...
I see. This is just Dinesh D'Souza shocked by people with legitimate religious beliefs instead of the transactional bullshit that Trump and people like Dinesh pass off as religious belief. I understand their shock. Because it is completely contrary to how they live their lives.
While seeing the life crushed out of you. The man tells her not to be afraid, and she replies, I'm not afraid. I know where I am going. Now, it's natural for us to ask in such situations, Where is God exactly? Why
In everything. Also, if there is a life beyond life, the life here is sort of a game / play acting / a lesson thing. So it's not the ultimate what happens to you. So God doesn't have to pity you because it's just the death of your body. So why would he would actually encourage extraordinary things? There's no I forget. The Bible is a prop to him.
evil and suffering in the world? Did
Oh, because you voted for it, I think.
God do this? And if not, did he at least allow it? Why does he allow it? When he's in a position to
Well, he needs the continent to settle. It's big, and you got to make adjustments. And scale-wise, it's going to happen.
do something about it? I've been thinking about this question for several years, and I've written a book about it. It's part
I have no doubt. I have been thinking for several years why you have a bowl of crystals / popcorn or whatever or a little fur thing sitting on your fake table in front of your wall painted to look like luggage.
trilogy on biblical apologetics. There are 3 books in the series.
Well, you know what? I got a big reading list ahead of me, but I'll put a
What's so great about Christianity?
who is this God person anyways?
Life After Death, The Evidence. And the third one is called What's So Great About God. My original title, which I prefer, was God Forsaken.
Oh, sorry, and but the publisher told you to go fuck yourself?
The book was published in hardback with that title, but in paperback, the publisher chose a different title, What's So Great About God. The argument of this monologue is adapted from that book. Now,
Okay, I'm not going to listen to you read a chunk of your fucking book, dipshit, while you and your wife selectively care about people who are harmed because that's the country your wife is from and left. So, all right. Moving on. I had to tap in on that one because I needed to see where he was going. And again, sales. If you'll notice, there seems to be a trend. This is all product placement, it seems. He's selling his book about God. What the fuck is God's problem? I think is the next book in that series. Meanwhile, somebody's been looking at Benny Johnson's thumbnails over at Tim Drool's shop. And what is this? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, my uncle, no, what is happening for to have? Elections are dead. Happy Coney Barrett and pile of ballots from God knows who. These disgusting Americans sort of and yay yay. Why the votings is happenings? Oh, what is that? What is he doing? And how many did he pose for? That didn't happen naturally. We're not gonna see in this video a moment where he goes, "Wah!" and they just went, "Oh, snatch that up." He did. How about? He did like 35 of them. They're going to start rotating them. All right, here we go. Elections are dead. Well, this will get the Republicans out in the midterms.
OL.com.
Did you get mail and it was in there?
Cheating.
Did it come on a CD mailed to your house?
Trump unleashes warning to Republicans after Supreme Court smacks him down on mail-in ballots.
Fabulous and excellent framing of the image as well. So, why use the reader format so that you can actually see that, and then the ads aren't half of the image, and also why show the bar at the top? Okay.
Trump lashed out on social media.
Gee, when does that happen?
Not long after the stunning ruling rebuked one of his core battle cries, writing the high court's decision was yet another reason for Congress to ram through the voting restriction bill he has been obsessing over for months now. In light of the tremendous loss in the Supreme Court today concerning voters' rights and the fact that people's votes are allowed to be counted long after an election is over, it is more important than ever.
Well, no, they're not. They're counted from the election. They don't get to send it in after the election's over. They have to mail their ballots by election day, but they can still count. If there's a significant amount of them, that means there's a big demand for mail-in voting.
To pass the Save America Act. Now, there's a lot to break down.
Oh my gosh, Peter! Thank you so much for the gifted subs.
There are a few things that Coney Barrett rules.
Oh my God!
Now, the ruling is actually quite narrow. Basically, there was a federal court said.
I think I have something for 1 second for when somebody does that. Does it work now? Let me see if it's. That's not what I wanted it to do at the end. That's not right. Why would I hope you, Peter? I want you to know I appreciate it. That was close. That was all right. So back to the show.
Now you can count ballots after Election Day. The court.
You can always count ballots after Election Day as long as they're mailed before midnight.
Court of Appeals then said, no, actually, you can't do that because federal law says Election Day is a set time. The Supreme Court says we reverse that lower court ruling for.
They didn't reverse it. They said it was unconstitutional.
Further, adjudication. However, in the opinion, she says Congress has never set a deadline by which anyone has to receive ballots for it to be an election, which means we've got a great sponsor. It's the Rumble.
Oh my God. Rumble wallet by crypto. Holy shit. So Rumble is chasing TMTG down the crypto hole. Fuck this. If you have to jump that hard into an ad, eat shit out. God damn. There are just all sales right now. Is it hard to be a pimp in Republican town right now? Jesus. Oh, and by the way, one of the reasons the Roseanne thing came up was because apparently when an election is coming up and Republicans feel like they're going to lose, one of the ways that they can motivate their male voters is to question their manhood. If you vote for Democrats, you are a pussy. That's the general theme. And even though Roseanne's thing was an ad, it's still in keeping with a lot of the stuff that we see like this, where Laura Trump, who, no shame, has bigger muscles than her husband. Although in all fairness, he has bigger boobs than her. Which again, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. It's a taste thing, style-wise, physique-wise. We don't all like the same thing. It's just a material fact. And this is No More Men in a picture of two men and a woman. This is on The Right View with Laura Trump, who apparently, and this would be the view from a right perspective by herself. Again, trad wives traditionally on the Republican side should sit down and listen to their men and shut the fuck up and shouldn't be involved in politics, certainly shouldn't be, ministers or priests, don't deserve to be in positions of power. They're too emotional, blah, blah, blah. But please tell us how there will be no more men on the Democratic side because somehow we're cool with women being able to have input in a representative democracy. It's nuts, I know.
And they also have a problem on the Democrat side as well, Eric, because recent Democrat Party approval rating among men is in the toilet. 16% approval rating with men of the Democrat Party, 78% disapproval rating. This is a Quinnipiac poll. This isn't just some obscure poll out there. This is serious stuff. And
do they approve of the Republican Party? I mean, again, does that mean they're not going to vote Democrat in that situation? No.
This is from mid-May. So this is very recent polling. That's a huge problem for the Democrats. We know that in 2024, we saw a huge shift, especially with younger men to the right. I feel.
Yes, and they're bailing right now. Go watch Nick Fuentes tell you which way they're all going to vote.
There's kind of been this war on men that has just kind of been under the surface.
She seems to be taking it personally.
These shoving these female candidates down people's throats.
Sorry, I got distracted by that sentence.
saying that you have to, quote, believe all women. Okay, that's fine. Let's let the facts bear out and let's not just jump to some rush judgment like that. But it's
Yeah, that's what that means. Like, believe all women means when they're allow them to make their case before you shut them down. Don't automatically dismiss a woman's accusations as has been, traditionally, especially in areas of power, what has happened. The message of Me Too and Time's Up being that women being immediately dismissed is out the window. That doesn't mean you don't have due process. It means if they're willing to tell you, be open to that.
if you were a heterosexual white male out there, you kind
I am. Yeah, I'm a heterosexual white male. Yeah. And what do I feel like? Tell me what I feel like, lady.
of had people against you, and the Democrats
Well, if I said they had a beautiful body, would they hold it against me?
perpetuated a lot of that. So I actually don't find those numbers surprising. But I'm wondering if that is the trend, if there are men who are trending even now more so away from this party. How does that bear into things for the Democrats? Because I don't know if you can win elections with numbers like that.
Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Laura, you probably have the wrong guest on for this segment because I'm one of the 16%. You may not want to be told. You may not want to be told what it's a time for a woman to do. I felt so seen during that Kamala Harris. I'm man enough to support a woman for president, right? Like, when I see a guy holding a wrench, then that tells me, instant masculine authority. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just, he's got a flannel shirt on. He must be a real man.
Oh, my God.
No, it's so ridiculous.
I'm sure they're referencing ads or something during the campaign that still stick in their craw.
But I do think, this is not news. But the fact that they aired that ad tells you that they knew they had a real problem with men. And the reason why they have a problem with men is the people, those are just like theater actors in that commercial. It's like an AI simulation of what Democrats think men look like and act like and talk like. And so they don't understand, authentically, kind of, to use their term.
Sorry, so guys who use tools and wear flannel, like blue collar workers, aren't real men? Is that the message of Laura Trump's show?
Male-coded things. It's one of the reasons why Gavin Newsom, this is my favorite thing nobody talks about. So Gavin Newsom, after the 2024 election, he starts his new podcast, right? The first 10 guests were all white men. And he didn't even have an African-American female guest on for a while. I mean, in fact, it may have been Jasmine Crockett. So they sort of just decided, okay, I guess we have to be back in the men business, but there's so few of them, they're any good at it.
Sorry. So the complaint is that the Democrats are pandering to men, which I guess is your guys' territory. And she didn't mention what men feel about the Republican Party. I don't know if we can find that. Okay. Let's see if we can find it. I'm sure it's slightly higher, right? Men Democratic Party. 16%. Is that what they said? 60% of male voters approve of the way the Democratic Party is handling its job. 78% disapprove. 6% said negative net rating of 62 amongst male voters. Poll results. And this was, okay, men, 6% of voters say men. Okay, hold on. The question, I guess, is, how do they feel about Republican Party? Let's see. Did it say? Quinnipiac found 6%. Okay, they were asking them about so they didn't ask them about the Republican Party in the same one? Same poll showed 20% of the public in general approved of the Democrats' account. 72% disapproved. Despite the low job marks, 50% of voters still stated they would prefer to see the Democratic Party win control of the House of Representatives. Let's see. Male voters gave a substantial. Yeah. So 40% of male voters approve of the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. 54%, a majority, disapprove. And 6% didn't offer an opinion. While still underwater with a negative net rating of 14, Republicans 40% approval among men significantly outperformed the Democrats 16% approval within the same demographic across all registered voters surveyed, combining men and women. The poll showed that 24% of the public approved of Republicans in Congress, while 68% disapproved. So you're 20 to 24 in this particular poll. So the 4% is within the margin of error. And yet 50% of them want the Democrats to take over in the midterms.
So it's one of the reasons why the approval rating is down. And by the way, like, what policies do Democrats have that a man would authentically, organically want to support? Right? Again,
Right.
The embrace of the trans rights things, I think, and being told that you're a
Why would that not be an organic cause that we would care about? I mean, so it's not you're saying that that's top of women's list, but not top of men's list, or it is a factor of testosterone or something that you do or don't care about this. Also, the idea. How about affordability? How about that? How about being able to buy a home? How about a job? How about the cost of everyday things, including gassing up your fucking truck? Those seem. I think those things might be a big part of it.
If you don't support kind of common sense things, I'm a father, I have daughters, like I don't want to be told that I have to embrace certain ideologies, and they have been demonized.
So it's a top of mind thing for you.
Alex's point, right? DEI makes white men the evil or like negative force. So when you tell white men that they're the problem, then they're probably going to go find somewhere else.
Sorry, I don't automatically default to victimhood when other people get opportunities. I don't work hard at what I do because I'm trying to outrun minorities, or outrun anybody with a head start in life, even if it was given to them by the fucking government. You notice how they don't complain about this with people like Donald Trump, who was born with a silver spoon up his ass, who gets a head start he didn't deserve. There's, they're against DEI because it somehow is reflective of people who've been denied access. But when it comes to people who got access they didn't earn, they're like, dude, that's how you fucking do it.
Hang out.
Isn't that a revelation? Imagine that. You mean you don't think that Coach Waltz being out there in the flannel, that didn't do it for you? Him with the gun, all of it,
yeah, that's because it was true.
It was so cringy, like all of these things the Democrats tried to do. And I'm just glad that the American people are smart enough to say, like, we are not buying any of this.
Okay, we'll put a pin in that till after the midterms. Also, Trump's approval rating.
This is full-blown crazy. Here's something I want to ask both of you guys about. I thought this was really interesting, and I was very hyped about it, and then I feel like I was immediately let down. The enhanced games. So they advertise this as the Olympics on steroids. This is where the athletes are allowed to...
Oh, gee, I wonder why she was excited about that.
To compete using these banned performance-enhancing substances. So, most of this is like there's testosterone, there's human growth hormone, there's all these different things that you can't typically...
Cocaine.
Alex, use whenever you compete, like for the...
Pregnant mare's urine.
Olympics, for example. And there was a lot of hype around this. So let me just give you kind of an idea of what was going on there. 40 sprinters, swimmers, and weightlifters took part in this event. If anyone watched, I'm kind of sorry because I don't feel like it was cracked up to be. The majority taken a combination of testosterone, human growth hormone, peptides, anabolic steroids, and other substances banned by events like the Olympics. And the swimmers were also allowed to wear the...
So it was basically a blind chemistry experiment?
Super suits, which if you go back to the Beijing Olympics, were apparently part of the reason that people were setting all these world records. So there are a lot of people who were skeptical about this, but this was like they were going to give $1 million to everybody who broke a world record. And there was only $1 million purse handed out, and it was for a Greek swimmer who broke the world record for the 50-meter freestyle by...
Sorry. Do you think it's optically good for Laura Trump to start wondering why we shouldn't have a higher profile enhanced games where people can take horse hormones.
Less than a second. So I don't know. Did you watch it, Alex? What did you think of this?
I did not watch it. I am not a sports expert, so, womp womp. But I do think that
What a girl. You know what I mean? I'm like, girly girl. I shouldn't even talk about these things. I shouldn't even be allowed to talk. I'm shutting my mic off.
one of the interesting takeaways
So, yeah. It's so true, though, except when it isn't.
is maybe all of this isn't necessary. If there was only one world record beat, then, how much are we pumping into our bodies? It does sound, though, like they were being monitored. There was like a medical expert I saw being reported about on hand.
Boring. Don't worry. It was RFK Jr. Look, we're going to do a magic go-go juice, and I'll just inject it into your leg right before the race. Nobody's going to know what's in them, but they're all good. Let me tell you. Who wants bat cum?
Is like, what long term does this do to bodies when you're using something?
Yeah, well, that's how we'll find out, I guess.
For a while, how long is the after effects?
Yeah, can it make you, I don't know, turn you from a normal looking woman into a sort of a all right.
To me, I would question too about what kind of
I'm not okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you're right, CSL. No trans men in women's sports, but we can have these guys all take testosterone. We're just doubling up, bro.
Example that's setting to young athletes. We know there's a lot of times, especially young females, that might have pressure to use certain supplements. Their bodies are still developing. I'm not really sure I want to push that on like high schoolers, for example. Anyone going into college, they might be seeing.
Excuse me. If you don't recognize the signs, Laura is not liking what you're saying. Look at her face right now. Take the cues. She's not looking right at your face. Someone felt pressured to join the volleyball team.
High schoolers, for example, anyone going into college, they might be seeing some success here and thinking, oh, how do I get my hands on that? So that's a little bit, maybe that's the mom in me.
Yeah, I've often watched sports and said, how do I get my hands on that?
Thinking there's a red flag. But, maybe we need more of these, Laura, to see if there's any more records set. And then yes or no. Well, we need more data to find out if that's really worth it.
Fuck, this is just dumb. What are you talking about?
Well, I will say this too, Eric. I in my mind, maybe we should have had like one lane that had the non-performance enhanced athlete and then the other lane with the performance enhanced, and you can let them like go back and forth. It's kind of hard.
Are you a fucking idiot? What? Just compare the records, dummy. That's what they're doing. We have entire games with nobody's on these things. And then the people who are on them have their separate games. And you can judge, time and distance doesn't change on the day, right? Oh, shit.
To compare oranges to oranges and apples to apples.
Especially if your skin is orange.
I needed to have like one of each. But despite that, they're really only the one record being broken. I was a little disappointed in that. And yeah, maybe it just shows that none of this stuff makes like that much difference, which actually kind of makes me happy. Although it always takes me back to the Tour de France and like the whole thing where
Lance Armstrong, but this is boring. What a bunch of bullshit. Hey, lady, I guess the overall would be not how many records were broke, was like how in general did everybody go a little bit faster and everybody could run and swim a little bit longer. And it affected everybody. It wasn't like one person takes this stuff and it gives them an edge over the other people taking that stuff. Is that maybe it helps them heal better. Maybe they have to do the games the second day and the third day. I'm like, why am I helping? What the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I even, but this is all right. We're almost to the Benny Johnson moment, and I'm so not looking forward to it. But can we jump into Trump pretending to give a shit about farmers again? Also, I don't know. Has he been out today? Did they put him back in hiding after his one outing yesterday? We may have to look that up, CSL. See if he's been out doing anything other than them walking him around, getting him to exercise by having him walk around and look at the sights. because they can't get him to golf because he's bored. Yeah, I didn't see him anywhere either. Weird. Okay, so this is it. He's going to help the farmers.
Welcome back. New this morning, President Trump temporarily suspending certain import duties on phosphate fertilizer import.
Stop yelling in my ear, Booth. I'm not listening to you.
Imported from Morocco.
Who pulls her fucking ISB or IFB out like in the middle?
Trump temporarily suspending certain import duties on phosphate fertilizer imported from Morocco.
She's even letting them know. She didn't do it subtly. She's like, I'm not listening to you.
Morocco.
Maybe that was just a ramen noodle that was stuck in her hair.
As farmers grapple with high prices and shortages due to the Iran conflict, fertilizer prices surge.
Conflict? Excuse me. We have everlasting peace.
40% since the conflict began. President Trump.
Sorry, what? Beg your pardon? What was that? How much has gone up? What's that?
Imported from Morocco. As farmers grapple with high prices and shortages due to the Iran conflict, fertilizer prices surging 40% since the conflict.
What's that? So fertilizer prices surging 40%. Well, I think costs they're just going to skyrocket downward.
Began. President Trump also asking Congress to approve more than $11 billion in additional aid for farmers, which would add to the $12 billion in aid already given to farmers this year.
Communism.
Joining me now in a Fox Business
Socialism.
Exclusive is the CEO.
Commie socialism. It's communist and socialist.
CEO of Pivot Bio.
The government is buying the farms, but we've got government farms now.
Chris Abbott. Pivot
Communism.
Bio is one of the world's leading.
I love how like Mom Donnie wants 4 fucking groceries where the prices are subsidized down like this much, and Trump's out there paying for the groceries fully before they even show up on the market.
Chris, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me.
Assess the company and the backdrop today after the rise in those prices.
The what in those prices? 40%, you say?
Yeah, it's certainly been a wild 3-month period. As you've just described, fertilizer prices spiked right essentially the Monday after the invasion in Iran.
Weird. It's almost like you could have seen that coming, and if you were going to do this, you might have stored up a bunch and let the farmers, use the tariff stuff to cover for the fact that you might have to go in there and front load it.
Describe phosphate, nitrogen, sulfur, many of the components that go into fertilizer have spiked. Our business, very insulated as a technology company here in the U.S., we've actually been able to take price down to look out for those American farmers, reducing their cost of nitrogen. With a new solution made in the United States, more cheaply and higher performing. But we've got to throw everything at this. This is just a challenge for farmers, not just in 26, but the volatility is likely to persist. We're seeing a little bit already, even in the most recent days. I'm starting to
Gee, it's almost like Trump only gives a shit about oil getting out.
see some prices firm up here in the U.S. as we
Fertilizer costs up 40% since Iran conflict began. Huh. Maggots, are you having as much fun reading that as Trump is?
27 cycle for fertilizer buying. That starts in about a month. So it's quite the challenge for U.S. farmers, and we're doing everything that we can around price and then reinvesting in our customers' businesses and in their communities.
Sure. So your company applauding 2 landmark actions by the Trump administration, the Department of Agriculture's recent ruling on regenerative agricultural biofuel feedstocks, and President Trump's executive order on advancing the future of agriculture.
By the way, is the guy driving that Reaper bush hog fucking thing drunk? What's happening?
Culture. Tell us about the impact.
Is he carving a NASCAR track in that field?
That this is having on farmers.
It's like a Roomba that hasn't been programmed with the borders of the room yet.
Yeah, both very critical, right? So as we think about the use cases for the grains and the commodities in our industry and in our country, being competitive on energy and not just ag, energy and ag are definitely linked. But
oh my God, a windmill, and it's on Pivot Bio. That's that guy's company. Pivot Bio is this guy's company. This is footage from them, and look what they've got in the middle of their fields. Look at that fucking thing, drawing power all the time. and feeding it to the battery-powered tractors they got. Boo! You're trying to kill the whales. You're giving whales cancer while making bald eagle smoothies.
Work that the government.
How dare you? And then cut to Trump's ugly mug. And I'm sorry, hopefully we won't experience much of this, but good Lord.
Has done really helps foster new innovation. So it's called the regenerative ag mandate, but it really is about new technology. And that's what we keep saying.
Like windmills?
Is we can continue to ban.
Like electric tractors paid for by the government? Jesus Christ. Like AOC should sue him for intellectual property theft.
Continue to incentivize farmers to continue to farm. We must do that. Right, they're under pressure. That's what we've just described. But at the same time, it can't be at the expense of not.
I'm not the only person doing that, right?
Investing in new technology. Otherwise, the next conflict, the next weather disruption, the next supply chain disruption.
They're not going to happen. America's entering its golden crusted phase. We got gold crust all over us. We're not going to have any problems. It's all fake news, man. You don't have to prepare for shit. If you're preparing for shit, it's because you're planning to do it, okay? If you try to plan for a pandemic, that's because you're choosing to make one happen. If you plan for a drought, you're stopping the rain from coming out of the clouds with government anti-cloud seeding or some Marjorie Taylor Greene shit.
Same position. And so we have to do both of those things at once. We have to continue to help our farmers at a time in which they need it most, but at the same time, we have to be willing to invest in new technology.
Pivot Bio, farmer obsessed. Is this a farming company, or are they like an offshoot of Farmers Only, the dating site?
We can continue to dampen and not be in this situation to the extent that we are.
Do you want to mate with a farmer, but you just can't walk that far?
And that we were.
We'll drive you over there and drop you off. Pick you up in the morning.
During the Russia and Ukraine crisis, which is just 3 years ago. Feels like we've had 2 black swan events in 3 years.
Right. So Chris, you're launching Pivot Pathways.
Wait a minute. Sorry. 2 black swan events in 3 years, and both of them happened in the last year.
Is a new initiative designed to invest in the next generation of farm families, and your company will contribute to the new Trump.
Oh my God, they're farming families. Silent greatest people.
Accounts for eligible customers and team members with dependent children. Great idea. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent even giving your company a shout out while talking about these accounts, saying it is encouraging to see our nation's leading companies, including Pivot Bio, support the efforts of offering contributions for their employees. Chris, why was this?
It's encouraging to see our nation's leading companies supporting this effort by offering.
Important to you.
Yeah, it's just an awesome day, not just for our employees, but for our customers and their rural communities. I've spent a lot of time with farmers. I did a 14-state tour in 14 days right after the Iran crisis began. And farmers aren't just concerned.
Crisis? So there was it was like a massive hurricane that came from Iran and hit the United States and destroyed the farmlands and the fertilizer fields in the Middle East and throughout.
They're concerned in making generational decisions on that farm. What happens on that farm? What happens to their rural community? What happens to their children? Are they coming back to the farm? And one thing was consistent, which I heard, is maybe there isn't room.
And is Bob Evans down on the farm? I've heard conflicting accounts.
Economically speaking, there isn't room on my farm, or maybe I should have my son or my daughter take less risk and go work in a city rather than coming back to rural America. And it pains them to say that. And
yeah, if they feel like a side character in a Reese Witherspoon rom-com.
One thing was clear was they just weren't sure that they had that economic safety.
Now I got to go watch Secret of My Success. New York City. He wants to see what's there. I can tell him what's there. I don't see how you can, because you never been. The secret of my success is I'm living 25 hours a day.
the volatility. And so we said, look, we can do this. We were already thinking about doing it for our employees. And so we'll invest somewhere, depending on the customer, $1,000 to $5,000 a year. We're doing $1,000 a year for our employees' children. Well, that's using compound interest to really create an advantage for not just our employees, but our customers. Because if we do that from when they're born to...
How many corpses do you have wrapped in these white containers right behind us? I'd rather not say.
Their 18th birthday and stop, they have over $40,000 at 18. If they do nothing with it,
if they do nothing with it, they can wait a little longer. They can move to the big city with a nest egg and actually afford a place in the city.
Use it for education and let it ride to retirement. And it's not funded. It's over $4 million.
Yeah.
So as I say, we're creating thousands of millionaires every year.
I love it. I think it's such a
Yes, you make so much money if you don't spend any of it.
brilliant idea. I always have been of the belief that investing and saving wisely begins at home and begins with your parents. For me, it was my mother encouraging me to save. And kids today are going to have that right off the bat, and they will be able to grow a portfolio. Don't you think, Ryan Payne, that this is going to create more investors longer term?
I love it 100% because
oh God, you're literally talking about how they're having to start separate savings accounts to make up for the fact that the farms aren't profitable because Trump is so good for them. Trump is so great for the farmer. Now, hold on. Now we got to jump into this Supreme Court stuff if we can. Hold on. Let's go to, I like this one the most. I think should we start with the one that, there's one where he was like, flaming angry turd, but oh yeah, blood is boiling. That's what it is. Trump raging response to birthright citizenship ruling as internet melts down. Blood is boiling.
Charlie Kirk tweet for everything. Imagine if a pregnant lady broke into your house and had a baby in your living room and then says that she has a legal right to stay in your house forever and access your bank account.
She doesn't, because your house is private property. She would have to leave, and the government would actually make her leave. That's yeah.
For free, live for free, get free money every single month.
No. And a good portion of them come here and are more productive and end up being, in a lot of cases, wealthier than the locals.
And granting birthright citizenship is to illegals. Summarized beautifully right here. Birthright citizenship was written for freed slaves, not anchor babies of illegals.
But enough about Trump Tower, Miami.
Pass it on. Unfortunately, that wisdom doesn't extend to the Supreme Court, which just allowed for infinity birthright citizenship.
No, the Constitution does. They just affirmed it.
For anybody who can get their pregnant ass to American soil.
You do know babies don't come out of ladies' asses, right? Maybe you don't.
Which is an insane way to run a country. No other country on earth really does this. There are like a handful of nations.
So there are some that do it.
That still have what you could call birthright citizenship.
So when you say no other countries have it, that some other countries have it.
None of them are places that you'd want to live, except for the United States of America. All of Europe has banned this. All of Africa has banned this. India has banned birthright citizenship.
Well, yeah, like racially homogenous countries tend to do this. We aren't one.
India, Pakistan banned birthright citizenship.
Yeah, because of the war between the Muslims and the Hindus.
New Zealand, Australia.
Also, they have zero metric to enforce it in all their, like, in the hinterlands and in the hills and other regions. Like, they don't give a shit.
Really hard to get to places.
Right, that's it. and really hard to bring resources to.
Without borders of other countries like Australia. They're like, this is insane. Of course, you can't just like come here and squat out a baby and then suddenly that baby's Australian. If you're from, I don't know, Mogadishu, every single
sorry, that if it's true that you can't do that, it's true everywhere. You can't come from America and do it either, or New Zealand.
Amazes me is a ton of third world countries have said this.
No, they haven't. They just don't have any control over their borders at all. They don't do anything. And they certainly have no matrix to help them. And if they do squat out a baby over the border someplace, it gets sold.
Because they're smarter than us. Look at what we allow. During border coverage, we saw a lot of women. This is Bill Malusian, who does excellent border coverage.
Fabulous.
For Fox News. Women who were very obviously late-term pregnant. They were crossing the river illegally, knowing that giving birth on U.S. soil would immediately give their child U.S. citizenship.
Right, but not them, interestingly enough.
There's never been an instance. There have been instances where women give birth at Border Patrol stations after immediately getting apprehended.
Well, it can be a shocking thing.
How could this possibly go wrong? Chinese Americans accused of terrorism were anchor babies from illegal parents. They shot.
How'd Timothy McVeigh get here?
Shot up a military base not too far from where I live in Tampa, Florida.
Well, it's Florida, though.
13 CBS News.
Sorry, you want to go through the locals versus immigrants on the Florida man scale?
Reports that Chinese parents traveling to the U.S. have anchor babies. They travel from China to Los Angeles so the baby could be born as an American and they can claim U.S. citizenship. They're among thousands of Chinese who have done this. They pay.
Yeah, especially if they want a girl.
$27,000 to a Chinese.
So that they could come here and give birth to a girl as opposed to having it thrown out in China.
Agency website that advertises the advantage of giving.
But tell me again how abortion is murder.
Birth in America.
Such stupid shit.
Like,
oh my God, look at that monster.
Healthcare forever. Free.
Yes, you should probably scroll back up because that baby is adorable.
Welfare forever.
No, not forever. It's still a standard. And the assumption that that's what they're coming here to do is just live on the tit. A lot of them left countries that have, that are, China's obviously allegedly communist, although it's we'll question the social safety net over there. But the idea is that they left socialist leaning countries to come here.
The ability to vote in our elections, the ability to run for office. And if
right, because they were born here.
Millions of Chinese people do this. All you have to do is just take those Chinese American citizens who've never once stepped foot in America, don't have any understanding of how our country works, and place them in a few swing states and have them vote. Register them to vote, which they can do. Then they swing the election like that.
Well, the baby does have to grow up, I think, and become an adult citizen. And I guess keep from doing terrorism until then, I suppose. They're probably born to do it, like Trump says.
Chinese woman, 41, admits to running a birth tourism scheme out of California that helped hundreds of pregnant foreigners get
500 pregnant foreigners give birth in the U.S. 500. We're a country of 340 million people.
The United States. So this is something that does happen. It happens.
Yeah, it does happen in a country of 340 million people.
Often, they're running a child trafficking operation. Look at this. U.S. territory turned into tropical.
Yeah, but they're trafficking the baby to here so it can grow up as an American.
Maternity ward produced thousands of American babies for parents in China. They just ship them in to Guam or the Mariana Islands, and they become an American citizen. Thank you, Supreme Court, for encouraging.
It's in the Constitution.
Encouraging human trafficking.
Here's what you could do. You could actually push for, upending the, birthright citizenship in the Constitution. You could, reverse the amendment or create a new amendment if you could get it passed and ratified. If you think there's that much agreement on it, why not actually do the fucking work?
Supreme Court strikes blow to Trump birthright citizenship order. Supreme Court ordered this today. They ordered the end of U.S. citizenship is what they did.
By making more people citizens?
And they said U.S. citizenship means nothing anymore.
Well, then I guess the parents are as well. And if you come over and you just step inside the country and you're not pregnant, you're a citizen as well. Is that how it works?
And I'm not a black pillar. I'm going to stand and fight, and I'm going to fight for as long as I got breath in the lungs.
And never mind. I'm not.
Because this is my country. It's not your country. Meaning,
it is my country.
If you are a voodoo, Satan-worshiping Haitian,
Do they have to? What if they're a Catholic Haitian
who traveled here pregnant and touched the border
So you're saying that voodoo fertility spells work?
wall and had a baby?
Maybe she's come over here to set up shop and help other people have children because it was very effective.
And you're telling me that that baby is as American as me? Nope, that's not the case. As
Well, in some cases, maybe more.
American as my children, who it is actually their birthright because my family has been here for 200 years and fought in all of our wars.
You and your wife and your kids did not fight in any wars.
Fought and bled and died and broke their backs and their bones for this nation.
Something you've never done?
Built the institutions of this country.
Also something you've never done?
You're telling me that their sacrifices meant nothing? That our citizenship, our birthright means nothing? The birthright of my children?
No, they fought for that as well. That was in the Constitution they were fighting for. When they went to war, this was an understood part of the law. Part of what they were fighting for and building institutions for in America was to protect the law and the Constitution of the country, which is essentially what makes this place America, not the physical geography of the fucking place. So your relatives fought and died and broke their bones and got injured and all that shit for this amendment as well.
Nothing.
They fought for the SCOTUS to be able to do this, you dipshit.
It makes my blood boil.
Ooh, his blood is boiling. Oh my God. And you know how he gets when his blood starts boiling. He goes down to the lobby bar. He has a couple of drinks with the folks that are, at the CPAC or whatever. And then it's on, buddy. Why is that choppy? Why are you so choppy? All right. I think it's just mad because he doesn't deserve the song right now.
Trump responding to the SCOTUS decision. I have to accept it. It's the Supreme Court. I think this is very bad for our nation.
I don't know.
He didn't read we're the only nation that does it because we aren't.
It's up to them. But in terms of for the good of the country, it'd be great if they didn't allow it. It would be great. But I can't tell you.
Look at his fucking lazy eye when he gets exhausted, or plus stroke damage. We looked at this. We watched him. Look at his eye drift, his left eye drift.
It would be great, but I can't tell you. The slaughter case was the big case today. That was really a big.
How does Benny feel honestly watching this? Like watching his hero decay right before his very eyes.
Case because it gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency. A very important case. It's been going on for almost 100 years. Think of that. And I guess I have to accept it's the Supreme Court, so I'll accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it.
President Trump then teasing President Xi. I would like to congratulate President Xi, the great country of China, on their massive birthright citizenship win. Thank you, President Trump. The Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, which is bad for our nation. We could easily make it up in Congress through legislation, the support of the president, and now determining the process.
Dude, it's bad enough what Trump actually writes, but watching Benny Johnson try to fucking read, like he has won the Bangholio Award, who again is looking for TP for his bunghole. And I guess. All right. It's bad enough that we have to read the gibberish that Trump writes himself without Benny's fucking, I don't know, his reading comprehension. Well, let's see if I can start at the top of this. Is that of a fourth grader with a head injury?
The Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, which is bad for our nation.
Which is too bad for our country.
We could easily make it up in Congress through legislation, the support of the president, and now determining the process.
The support of the president and now determining the process, which he got with the support of the president that has now been determined during this process.
Long and unwieldy constitutional amendment Congress should start today.
Is necessary.
On ending expensive and unfair birthright citizenship for our country.
Unfair to our country birthright
will have my total support. Well, not exactly correct. The way that legal experts tell me on our show that this has been decided. It's been decided on the constitutional question, not on statutory grounds. So now you
right. That, to my point, that your relatives fought for the Constitution and that was in it when they did. Asshole.
You can't just like make a law and that trumps the Constitution. That doesn't work that way. You can make it
right. You have to do a constitutional amendment.
Any law you want, but if they said this in the Constitution, then it's in the Constitution. So you have to,
because it is in the Constitution. Hence the ruling from the Supreme Court.
A constitutional amendment.
Fuck, man, this guy's so stupid.
Or you have to bring it before the Supreme Court again, right?
And what's the point? Okay.
And
if you can't count on Amy Coney Barrett to be racist, what hope do we have?
Get rid of stare decisis, have a new court, appoint new justices, and this is what you're going to have to do. It's going to be a generational battle now. Supreme Court uphold birthright citizenship, saying that those who are engaging in birth tourism are citizens at birth. We're going to need to
look at the fucking X tabs in his. I guess that's just the show.
Constitutional amendment, says Mike Lee. Not good. Because you're never going to get it. Birth tourism is now a constitutional right for 8 billion people on Earth. Dark day. 14th Amendment was never intended to allow any non-citizen to confer citizenship on her child and thereby skip the line, delivering their baby here. The court majority, especially the squish conservatives, are too afraid of being called racist to act accordingly. That's exactly.
All right. And he's just going to be reading other conservative shit. He's just mining this. But meanwhile, let me show, this is his blood is boiling. And then this is him, I guess the same thing, the mail-in ballots.
2020, absolutely everything is on the line. COVID, multiple Marxist revolutions ravaging the street. A president.
Sorry, Marxist revolutions were ravaging the street? I thought it was just kind of the George Floyd stuff mixed with a pandemic.
Election unlike anything we've ever seen. And then President Trump here.
Oh, right. They think BLM was a Marxist revolution.
Right. That Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died and he'll get another Supreme Court justice.
Whoa. He's not playing the audio. That's hilarious.
President Trump would go on to nominate Amy Coney Barrett and take his life into his own hands because President Trump was making a power play for the Supreme Court. He already had 2 Supreme Court nominees, and now he could flip the court to the conservative majority permanently with the correct pick. And Amy Coney Barrett was sold to us as the correct pick.
By him. Also, took his life into his own hands? The fuck does that mean?
She's Christian. She's from Notre Dame. She's somebody who has a rigid constitutional background, a law professor, super high IQ. Nobody's doubting that she's really intelligent. And
yeah, that was the problem, though. I think she's actually read the shit and she knows what she can and can't do.
That she lives a moral Catholic life. And then she got to the Supreme Court.
And hangs out with the other ladies.
For activists and commentators and Republican elected officials put their lives on the line for her.
What the fuck are you talking about, you drama queen? What the hell? You're... Jesus Christ. I thought we were supposed to be the victim class or whatever on the Democratic side. Enough with the fucking lives on your line. All you did was sell what Trump told you to fucking sell. It's the same thing you do every goddamn day. Lives on the line. What the shit? What'd you do? Did you and Steve Bannon, a bunch of people had to like park outside your house and create a human shield for her? What the fuck are you talking about?
And rammed her through? In spite of Democrats kicking, screaming, and murdering their way through Washington, D.C. I mean, they had roving, I was living in D.C. at the time, they had roving bands of militia members from Antifa to BLM that were attacking any conservative they could see on site. And it's because...
and because you were wearing a Amy Coney Barrett t-shirt, you got your ass handed to you?
Of Amy Coney Barrett. And because of this nomination, I mean, this broke them. It pushed them over the edge.
What?
And as soon as she gets to the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett changes.
No, she was basically a heat-seeking missile for abortion rights. And once she did that, she just went back to being a constitutional conservative.
The stalwart Catholic conservative upholding of Christian and constitutional values.
Turns out to be a lie, because there she is standing near the black lady and the Hispanic lady, and she would never do that.
Morphed almost immediately into one of these little short goblins, which make up the only 3 left-wing Supreme Court justices, and all of them are doing extremely poorly right now. I mean, goodness gracious. And they're in like complete and total collapse, and they have no chance to win any decision if the conservatives could just stay together. Conservatives could actually lose a vote. You can lose John Roberts. He's squishy. Everybody knows that. George W. Bush. But you can't lose the Trump nominees.
Well, you're going to if you keep trying to push through shit that is unconstitutional, blatantly illegal, or will undermine their power in the long term. Their legacy is more important to them than Trump's, you dipshit.
It's anecdotal, but here's this footage of President Trump after the State of the Union, and he's talking to Amy Coney Barrett, and you can see she hates him.
Well, in her defense, he smells. He smells really bad. I don't know that this is a moral look she's giving. See, he's literally shitting his pants as he walks by. I think we have audio from it, that when he shook her hand, it was straight up. Yeah. That was that literally, that's why she's giving him the look. He crop dusted her, yeah.
Despises him. It's just obvious when you study body language. She loathes him. She doesn't even acknowledge his existence there, and then she glares at him. Purses her lips.
Like fucking Kavanaugh's barely looking at him too.
And can barely stand being in the presence of the man who sacrificed his life to
what the fuck?
Put her into a lifetime appointment.
What is that? What is this sacrifice his life shit? That's amazing to me. I don't even know where he's anchoring this horse shit. Like, usually we can tell where, like, it was because of her that she got, she ruled that the Secret Service couldn't raise their budget depending on a threat for a candidate, and therefore he got shot in Butler, right? It's not even, that sounds like that. That sounds like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Does anybody, honestly, chat room, does anybody know what the fuck he's talking about? I mean, besides the fact that he's, fixating and having a Real Housewives of DC moment with Amy Coney Barrett, who he thinks of as, I guess, his direct competition. Awkward. It's just fucking weird.
They shoot Trump in the head for this reason.
What? Sorry, he got shot in Butler because he put Amy Coney Barrett on the... What the fuck are you talking about? Why was...
That he was able to get 3 Supreme Court picks. And so, damn it, like, we were sold a bill of goods on Amy...
No, okay. There's zero evidence and zero even anecdotal side stories that Butler was about the fact that he got 3 SCOTUS picks. The fuck are you talking about?
And we were...
this is just weird. Like, I just defend it on the merits. Just go, he appointed her and she should be following the line, or, she should be, grateful or some shit like this. But, like, this is...
She either deceived us, or the people that were pushing her deceived us.
Or the law is clear and she ruled with the Constitution, which is what you guys allegedly sent her there to do. But the truth is, you're just upset because she won't cheat on your behalf.
but she had all of the institutions behind her. We need to have a real conversation about vetting on the Supreme Court.
You can't just take them from the Heritage Foundation? Sorry, so you're saying that Trump isn't paying attention and doesn't hire the best people?
Barrett's betrayed us again. In a 5-4 vote with John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett, of course, siding with the libs, who are in a permanent minority, a humiliating minority, by the way.
Why is it humiliating? Because you guys cheated and didn't let the next president pick one of the Supreme Court justices, and it would have been split normally. It would have been an even split had that happened. Brett Kavanaugh wouldn't have a seat if you guys had stuck to the norms. It's the only humiliating part, I guess, is that you guys cheated, effectively broke all the moral and ethical rules you could to get her on the court, and and Brett Kavanaugh, and they haven't been good little soldiers.
Constantly makes a mockery of the court.
Why? By ruling on their real beliefs and their understanding of the law?
Attacks the court. But the conservatives are giving them legitimacy by now voting, saying that mail-in ballots can be received whenever.
No, read the fucking paragraph right next to you absolute dipshit. What the hell? It has to be received on election day. It has to be postmarked on election day. And it's only got 5 days to get there from that day. Court ruled that federal law does not require mail-in ballots to be received by election day, holding that states may count ballots postmarked by election day, but received afterward if the state law allows it. Because you have up till election day to vote. You can vote on election day. Whatever the legal options you have to vote, you can use all of them up till election day.
Limit to when you can receive or keep counting mail-in ballots. So what this?
Yeah, there is. I think, and it was like 5 days was the longest they gave it.
Means is that Democrats in blue states, they deferred to state law and just said, hey, whatever the state law is, like that's just the law.
Right, because that's what the Constitution says, that states are in charge of their elections.
And we're not going to limit that. So now every Democrat state can just pass a law right away that says we're going to count mail-in ballots to 100 gajillion days after.
No, because you have to certify it by a certain date. So there's obviously a built-in limit because the people that are voted into office have to be certified, have to be sworn in with the Congress on January 6th, for example, regularly. So you do have a limit based on when you actually have to call the election.
That'll be the limit. Infinity days. Until we get the result we want, we'll just keep counting mail-in ballots. That's what they ruled today.
And we won't have a representative in government because they won't be sworn in. Oh, God.
Because of Amy Coney Barrett. The person who, literally could have gotten us killed because so many conservatives fought for her because we were told that she was going to be really solid on these exact issues.
Oh, what the fuck are you? Also, he was.
The issues of saving our constitution, saving our nation. Here we go. 5-4 vote. 2 conservatives siding with libs. The Supreme Court ruled that federal law does not require mail-in ballots to be received by election day, holding that states may count ballots postmarked by election day, but received afterward if the state law allows it. Oh, okay. So what Democrats are now just going to do.
Gee, see all those little references? C3 USC. Don't you see all that shit? Okay, this is the reference to the law that they're referring to because there is case law and constitutional reasoning behind this.
They're just going to change all of their laws to say we'll just receive ballots forever.
And never have any of our representatives sworn into office.
Again, until we get the right results, we're just going to do what they did to Spencer Pratt.
And we won't have an actual mayor. We'll just be mayorless.
A nightmare. This is a nightmare for us. Supreme Court. How could anybody even argue this? How could
It's actually really easy. You're allowed to use all the mechanisms that are available to you as a voter up until election day. And if you vote on election day, your vote should count, even if you mail it in on that day. How about the federal government could just provide states with ways if they, it takes them longer than 10 days to vote, to count votes or whatever, the federal government will provide them with machinery and support to shorten the process.
Argue this.
Because people have the right to have their vote counted, and if they vote on election day, their vote should matter.
What is the argument here precisely?
This guy's so stupid.
Rejecting the RNC push to defeat the practice of counting mail-in ballots after election day. What is the justification for that?
Well, you can vote on election day, and if you mail it that day, it won't arrive until after election day, and therefore, and of course, if you, let's say you voted before election day, and Trump's postmaster slows down the fucking mail, and even though you voted 5 days before election day, you mailed it in within the time frame that you could expect it to arrive on election day, they move it 2 days. They slow the mail down on purpose so your ballot doesn't show up until the day after, even though you voted 5 days before the election. Your vote will not count, even though you are an American citizen exercising their right to vote.
There's early voting. Virtually all states have early voting.
Right. And if you mail your ballot in and the mail slows it down and it doesn't arrive before election day and it doesn't count, you are being denied your rights as a citizen, you dipshit.
Voting. You can't even get your ballot in by election. All you have to do is put it in the mail. So if you don't put it in the mail, I mean, they mail out the ballots like months before the election.
No, they don't.
Again, you have early voting stations that are open like weeks before the election.
Not in every state.
But we're going to make this giant carve out for these people. These people, we know exactly what's happening here, right?
Yeah, it's totally. It's the illegals. Because the illegals who are cheating, they do it last minute so that their votes come in late.
The storehouses of ballots, they figure out where they are on election night, and then they just pump the ballots out and mail them. And this is exactly what it is.
So that's how Trump got elected?
What's going on?
So the mandate that Trump got was using that system.
In Democrat states, and everyone knows it. And
no, they don't. You're a cartoon.
Refuse to stop it.
You are a silly person.
Amy Coney Barrett says it doesn't conflict with federal law.
Prove it, by the way. Seriously. Go through and, I mean, your vote shows up on the register. Go find them. Go find 65 fucking votes in one area in a federal election. Go find them. There are processes in all of these states where they go back and they test some of the ballots to make sure, like just rando batches to make sure that they didn't come from, illegal sources. Where is it? Where's the evidence? We know people in the villages in Florida where you lived when, I guess, you went through the nightmare of BLM or some shit. We know there were a bunch of people in the villages who voted for Trump 4 fucking times and are going to jail for it.
Which sets the Tuesday next after the first Monday of November as the day of the election. The election day statutes say nothing about ballot receipt, and we cannot add the words Congress chose. She and Supreme Court John Roberts joined with the court's 3 liberal justices. The majority of the court conservative dissented.
The court is for the Senate. The court's 4 other conservative justices dissented.
Okay, the Supreme Court's decision injects...
Hey, man. In America, we speak English, okay? And we read English. And English is the main language. And if you're going to fuck it up, you're not a real American, okay?
A new layer in the fight.
It also marked a loss of who has been assailed in states for ballots and long assisted the counted on election night to Supreme Court. Just randomly pick words and sausage them together.
Pro Congress at a time when Republicans hope to maintain their majorities. It also marks a loss for President Trump, who had...
His life was in our hands. You fucked it up.
Had assailed states for allowing post-election day ballots. I mean, what are we even doing here?
What are we allowing people to vote legally?
Doing here? allowing post-election day ballot. Yuck, terrible decision. ACB and Roberts joining the libs. It's really sad because Will Chamberlain, he's an awesome dude, and so is Mike Davis, but they were pushing big time. Article 3 Project were pushing big time to have Amy Coney Barrett installed at the Supreme Court.
So because they were expecting her to cheat on their behalf, not because they wanted her to stick to the law.
ACB is the worry Trump appointed SCOTUS the worst Trump appointed SCOTUS justice.
I see. So yeah, even more fun than watching this guy make gibberish out of a real sentence. Watching him try to ungibberish a sentence.
Sides with the libs when it matters the most. ACB determines election day doesn't really mean election day. The electorate's choice is made when the voting is complete, not when the ballots are received. Ooh. Oh, it's so terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Like, people should have their vote not counted if they have to mail it, and they mail it on election day, which has always been a thing.
The opinion is authored by AC, does not broadly bless all post-election day practices, holds that postmarked by election day short receipt window is lawful. Well, whatever. I won't take
whatever. Bullshit.
Take that as a victory.
I will not, because I don't want to, and my blood is boiling.
From Alito's dissent, today's decision creates a serious risk of further undermining public confidence in elections and systems of self-government.
Sorry, the Supreme Court is not in the confidence business. It's legal or it isn't. When he talks about like balls and strikes, is that him like trying to make the fans feel confident about the game instead of just actually calling balls and strikes?
Right. I mean, this is crazy because what they're going to do is libs are going to use this and then pack the Supreme Court and dilute all your power and destroy all. Like, you think you're being high-minded. Every time a conservative is coming out and like, I'm high-minded. Oh, look at me. I'm so principled. This is what Amy Coney Barrett's doing. Love me, love me, love me. Invite me.
I see, because she's a woman. She's desperate for that attention. Unlike, I guess, Clarence Thomas and Scalia.
Me to speak at Yale. I'm so principled. I'm the principled conservative. You can pat me on the head. Dude, it doesn't matter. You're going in the camps along with the rest of us.
What? No, sorry. We're jumping straight to that. He thinks he's going in. God damn.
It's not like they're going to forgive you for this. You're not going to become.
That's right. You're going into the I don't know what camp they're talking about. The re-education camps. Is this the idea that when libs take over, they're going to throw all conservatives in re-education camps? And yeah, totally, dude. We're gonna board every baby and take every gun away, and we're gonna teach kids that stop teaching them to share and teach them straight up communism. And anybody who disagrees is going to be put into the factory that from Joe versus the Volcano, where you make anal lube against your will for time immemorial, so that everybody can be queer.
Because of this, it's such a losing game. But it's called power politics. It's the way politics has always been. It's a nightmare.
I think he deserves, a moment. I think it's got to be rough for him. And
this risk of undermining. It's abundantly clear that ACB was a Mitch McConnell plant selected by the deep state's bidding, and it's sad. That's right. She might be Trump's biggest mistake. You have an open goal in the Supreme Court. Shockingly wrong decision. Justice Barrett joins with liberal justices to hold that this federal law does not preempt state. This is terrible for election integrity. Another reason we must pass the SAVE Act. Biggest conservative judicial disaster since Souter.
Will we ever recover?
The difference
That's
is
my
that
question.
A few conservatives expected nothing from Souter, whereas Barrett was supposed to be the future of the court. The worst part is she'll be pushing leftist policies for another 40 years. Yeah, we totally effed this up.
Man, it's so terrible. You know what your mistake was? Putting a woman on the Supreme Court anyways. They should stay home and shut the fuck up, like Roseanne says on her show, where she shouldn't be saying anything because she's a woman.
President Trump is
so confused by this trad conservative thing.
His base moved heaven and earth to get Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court, and all she's done is betray us. Every single decision.
Gee, it's almost like he's a shitty judge of character. How must that feel when you go and visit him and he tells you you're great? He uses the same adjectives to describe you as he uses to describe Amy Coney Barrett. That means his compliments are meaningless because he's a fool and a dumbass. Maybe you're just as bad as she is.
How is it acceptable to count votes after the election day? I can't walk into a polling place after the election day and cast a vote.
Because they voted on election day and then mailed it.
Vote. Balance.
But if your vote left the polling place and the truck broke down and it got there after midnight, it would still count because even though that's after election day, because you voted on election day. I think that's sorry. What were you whining?
Election day shouldn't be counted either. Disgraceful. Awful decision. Worst decision.
Terrible. So bad. I'm broken sharded about the whole thing.
Sad development. Election day means election day. The entire rise of mail-in voting just created the condition for election destabilization and undermines voter trust. Most importantly,
that's right. Look at how Trump won all 7 swing states with the same rules that existed in 2020. Does anybody believe that happened for real? Clearly, Elon Musk was using all of these tools.
Projects opportunities for mischief. When SCOTUS election day is 5 days after election day. Banana Republic.
Whoop, did he accidentally show a porn page? Aw. Trump is frustrated by Justice Amy Coney Barrett and other Supreme Court picks, according to sources. The president feels the justices could do more to back his agenda, sources said. He happens to be the source, that person on the phone, even though we say a high administration official. Why can't he subscribe to Newsweek since he uses them all the time?
Amy Coney Barrett sides with liberals in deportation case.
It's not what it says. It's actually a statement. It says why she did it, not that she did it, but...
Oh, wow.
Can't read Temple uses the F word, and I'll look at it.
What does it even mean if you can't
You can't say fucking on Benny Johnson's show, because once you think it, then you'll want to do it, and then you know.
I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, owie.
Take it, Benny. He's sad. I'll dance.
Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie,
he's depressed.
Boink, boink, dooby-doo. You know what I wanna do. Yay! Boink, boink, dooby-doo. You know what I wanna do. Basta.
Sorry, I was just trying to cheer up Benny, you know? Sometimes I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, and I just feel like he's a little down for it.
Vote before election day and get it.
How can it be that boatloads of votes are arriving bajillion days after an election?
Counted after election day. The results can be certified whenever they want to? Yeah, that's right.
No, they have a date to certify them.
Barrett is scum.
Yeah, Trump's a great judge of character. Hashtag the best people. By the way, I don't think this stops anywhere. I think he definitely, this one's even rougher. Like now even Obama is laughing at Trump.
Today's Supreme Court ruling by the Chief Justice John Roberts, joined by Professor Amy Coney.
Yeah, don't forget to bring up the woman.
Coney Barrett and the 3 leftists in a 5-1-3 ruling. The 5 wrote that we apparently fought a civil war and enacted the birthright citizenship provision, not to give birthright citizenship to the children of the freed slaves and overturn the Dred Scott decision, but that's now been expanded to Chinese birth tourists. 1.5 million and counting Chinese birth tourists can now get birthright citizenship.
Oh, you still think there's 1.5 billion Chinese people? Also, by the way, I think it's just the ones that are pregnant with girls.
Where these Chinese mothers come to America.
These Chinese mothers
give birth to their Chinese kids.
American kids, actually, according to the ruling.
Fly back to China, never step foot in America again. And under this ruling today by John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett and the three liberals, the 14th Amendment gives that Chinese baby birthright citizenship for the rest of that kid's life, where that kid gets Social Security. He gets all the benefits of citizenship.
Oh, it's a he. Yeah. They probably come out military age.
That kid, when he turns 18, can vote, mail his ballot into America from Beijing, mail that ballot to America where this baby has never stepped foot in.
Well, he's gonna need to register, I think. Like
again, since his birth, 18 years prior.
He's also subject to American law too, and is not a Chinese citizenship because they don't allow dual citizenship. So if he's an American citizen and he's living in China for more than, I think it's, well, I mean, like 2 days past your visa, what are they going to do? Chuck him into Vietnam?
What this Supreme Court decision does, that Chinese birth tourist gets birth
specifically
citizenship. This is egregiously wrong by John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, and the three liberals. We did not fight a civil war and pass the birthright citizenship provision to do this.
Well, then pass an amendment that clarifies it and get it, get the states to ratify it.
Birthright citizenship provision says that you're born in the United States and you're subject to the jurisdiction, you get birthright citizenship. You have to have both. American Indians did not have birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment.
Because they're born on sovereign native land.
Congress had to pass a statute to give American Indians birthright citizenship because
they have sovereign land.
American Indians were not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. They were subject to the jurisdiction of their tribe. So if American Indians do not have birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment, how the hell do Chinese birth tourists? How do Tren de Aragua kids? How do MS-13 kids? How do all these
Sorry, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua are knocking up women and they're just like shooting gang members out of their vaginas like catapults. What is happening? So you're assuming that these kids, if they grow up American citizens, that they're going to want to come over here and blow shit up? Or sell drugs, and they're not going to go to jail for it?
Aliens who come in here, birth tourists. This is the most egregious violation.
I'm just enjoying how upset Benny looks.
Imaginable of we the people, the sovereign citizens of America. Oh,
I see. This is a sovereign citizen thing.
Our most crucial sovereign power to control our border and to control our populace. It is almost impossible.
That, I don't think it applies, by the way, if you have the baby here and then you immediately go back home. You have to have the intention of staying as part of the ruling and the previous law.
To change this now, we have to pass a constitutional amendment.
Well, then get at it, dumbass.
To change this.
Boo fuckity who.
So states would need to get together in a constitutional convention that I don't think has happened maybe ever, and then change.
Gee, I don't know where the other amendments came from then.
Yeah, and again, it's 5-1 to 3. Justice Kavanaugh would have decided this on statutory grounds. It's still bad and wrong, but not nearly as egregiously bad and wrong as the Chief Justice and Amy Coney Barrett and the three liberals did by constitutionalizing birthright citizenship for Chinese birth tourists. Think about that. And then the three real constitutionalists, Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, and Justice Gorsuch, my old boss, correctly dissented and said, no, this is not what the 14th Amendment says. It's subject to the jurisdiction, which means allegiance to the United States, not allegiance to China or to some other foreign country. And
Well, yeah, that's why if they stay citizens, they can still be like offered things to come back over here, and that would make them viewed as spies in a lot of these countries. Be almost unsafe for them to go to China.
If we want to give birthright citizenship to Chinese birth tourists as we the people, we can do that. We can have our elected members of Congress do that like they did for American Indians in 1924. But now this has been constitutionalized. This can no longer be debated. This is as bad. This is as bad of a decision as you can get from the Supreme Court. It is the most narcissistic decision imaginable out of the Chief Justice John Roberts, and he's a narcissist. But this takes it to a whole new level. And of course, Professor Amy Coney Barrett joined this decision.
So sad.
I won't even go there because I'm too angry. But it's just unbelievable that
He was
they
going to
can
say
just
bitch or something.
scratch out subject to the jurisdiction of the United States in the 14th Amendment and hand out birthright citizenship to every illegal alien, including Chinese birth tourists who come and step foot in America and give birth.
So the Russian birth tourists that were going to Trump's place in Miami. Hold on, let's see if I can bring that one up. Let's see. Whoops. I can type Miami. This isn't. There we go. And I'm also going to put this in the reader format. It's funny that they're not bringing this up. Yeah, I think it's birth tourism brings Russian baby boom to Miami. Social media is full of Russian women boasting about coming to America to give birth, sometimes staying at Trump properties. Sometimes. Lured by the charm of Little Havana or the glamour of South Beach, some 15 million tourists visit Miami every year. But for a growing number of Russian women, the draw isn't sunny beaches or pulsing nightclubs. It's U.S. citizenship for their newborn children. In Moscow, it's a status symbol to have a Miami-born baby. And social media is full of Russian women boasting of their little Amerikansky. Their Amerikansky. There they are, look at that. And where is the place with the people visiting? What is the name of place where they come over to catapult little Amerikanskis out of their vaginas? Yes? Who are they kicking these babies out of their vaginas onto the floor of the Trump? What is it? Hold on. I have something along these lines. Where are we? I have a phrase. Yeah. Hold on. We have that says. Why is that not hearing? I don't know. That was weird. He did not want me to. Oh. No, that's like a robot. I think it's because I have the window open. It doesn't like it. Russian women boasting of their little. I was trying to do the wah wah wee wah. It's really common. It's really common. Said Ekaterina Kuznetsova, 29. When I was taking the plane to come here, it was not only me. It was 4 or 5 women flying here. Ekaterina was one of dozens of Russian birth tourists NBC News spoke to over the past 4 months about round-trip journey that costs tens of thousands of dollars and takes them away from home for weeks or months. Why did they come? American passport is big plus for the baby. Why not? And the doctors, the level of education, the weather doesn't hurt either. It's a very comfortable place for staying in winter time. They come over and have little winter babies. It's not just the Russians who are coming. Chinese moms-to-be have been flocking to Southern California to give birth for years. What they're doing is completely legal. Oh, I don't know. Why am I still reading it in the Russian accent? As long as they don't lie on any immigration or insurance paperwork. In fact, it's protected by the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which says anyone born on American soil is automatically a citizen. The child gets a lifelong right to live and work and collect benefits in the U.S. And when they turn 21, they can sponsor their parents' application for an American green card. Green card doesn't mean they're going to get it, but they can sponsor it in 21 years. As president, Trump has indicated he's opposed to so-called chain migration, which is how Melania's family got here. Probably why. It's how his mother-in-law arrived. Which gives U.S. citizens the right to sponsor relatives because of recent terror attacks. And as a candidate, he called for an end to birthright citizenship, declaring it one of his first policy papers, the biggest magnet for illegal immigration. We have to get rid of it. They're having a baby, and all of a sudden, nobody knows the baby's here. You have no choice. Jesus Christ, there's still gibberish back then. In a twist, as the Daily Beast first reported, condo buildings that bear the Trump name are the most popular for the out-of-town obstetric patients. Although the units are subleased from the individual owners, and it's not clear if the building management is aware. Oh, they're aware. Oh, they're aware. So there's no indication that Trump or the Trump organization is profiting directly from birth tourism, except for, by just Putin not releasing his copy of the Epstein files. The company and the White House did not respond to the request for comment. You don't say. Roman Beccaria, the state director of the Florida Association of Realtors, told NBC News that Trump-branded buildings in Sunny Isle Beach area north of Miami are particularly popular with Russian birth tourists and Russian immigrants. Terrible. It's terrible. I'm starting to get that Benny Johnson feeling, that old Benny Johnson feeling. I don't know how to. This is terrible. A terrible day, a terrible ruling, and the terrible situation for the thing with what we're doing. What are you doing? Hold on, I have to. What's Farrago acting all funky? Let's see. Settings. We'll go to audio, and this thing goes out to, let's see. External headphones. Maybe that'll do it. Hold on. Why must the Russians come over here and crank the Americans' skis out of their vaginas? In the Sunny Isles, the beach has a nickname. They call it Little Russia because people who are moving from Russian-speaking countries to America, they want a familiar environment. They don't want to assimilate. Right, Megyn Kelly? They don't like assimilations. They go across the street. They have Russian market. They have Russian doctor. They have Russian lawyer. It's very They have free access to Novichok, and they can spray people in face with radioactive spray. Reshetova came to Miami to have her first child, hiring an agency to help her arrange her trip and her pregnancy. The services, which can include finding apartments and doctors and obtaining visas, don't come cheap. She expects to pay close to $50,000, and some packages run as high as $100,000 if you're, staying at one of the. If you don't want bed bugs in your Trump apartment. Bulgaria says some landlords ask for 6 months' rent up front. This is how Trump organization fleeces these pregnant Russian women. One firm, Miami Mama, says it brings up to 100 Russian and Russian-speaking clients to the U.S. per year. 30% of them are repeat clients. Repeat, they got multiple babies that are going to make sure, man, that all their babies are Amerikanskis. The owners are Irina and Konstantin Lubnevsky, who bought Miami Mama after using the firm to have 2 American children themselves. We tell every client, you have the documents, you have to tell the truth. This is America. They like the truth here. They're to be completely transparent with the U.S. immigration officials that they're expecting. Don't tell them you're not having a baby. You better tell them you're about to have a baby. I would like the American people to understand they don't have to worry. Those who come here want to be part of the American people. Yes, you can always trust a Russian woman. Don't ask me. Ask all the guys at the bars outside the Pentagon. Okay, so for fuck's sake, you'll notice that like these articles came out and like Trump's properties in Florida have been basically like obstetric waiting rooms for fucking ever. They keep them afloat. Trump's not upset about this ruling in reality because it's a cash cow for his goddamn properties. But look at Benny. Oh, Benny's upset. But Benny is upset. Oh, that's too easy. Benny is upset. What a dickhead. The Chinese are coming here. The Russians are coming here more than they are. They're hot. It's the Chinese I'm worried about. Why? Have you seen them? They look all foreign-y or something. But the Russian women come over here and they're loose. They have multiple kids. They're loose women. You can tell them come over here. Then they hang out at Mar-a-Lago with their gold strollers. You can't go wrong. No shit, I'm over time. This show zipped by. So yeah, there's all three of these. He's pissed off. Oh, there's one more. Apparently, the team, I get the Queeranons, which is Scott Pressler and that crowd. Apparently, Thune and the other rhinos are scared because Pressler is he was arrested in South Dakota. I don't know any of this interior shit, but can we just enjoy for a moment the interior drama that's going on? It has nothing to do with us. It's not, you just watch this garbage play out. Okay. So Pressler, by the way, is the guy who allegedly delivered the Amish in Pennsylvania for Trump. He's gay. He's got super long straight hair. So I don't see any of the maggots that show up in my chat. By the way, hit the like, share the show, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see any of them complaining about Pressler's manhood or hair or any of this. It's curious. Interesting. And then, of course, you don't arrest Scott Pressler. Make Benny mad. Look at Mad Benny. So here we go. Yeah, hit the like, share the, look at that. And then I'll do super chats right like after a couple minutes of this. Thank you guys so much for that.
I do want to say one thing.
Well, that's all you're going to get.
I'm thankful for Senate Majority Leader Thune's staff from making the call to ban me because it exposed what
for making from. Sure, just use from where you mean for and for where you mean from. Just English.
What's going on? A lot of people probably look at South Dakota, North Dakota, Idaho,
and don't know the difference
as these bastions of conservatism, but it's true that we have a lot of still rhino establishment authoritarians in charge.
Yeah.
You also have a lot of anti-gay old guard Republicans. I got to tell you, like, you don't look like who they expect to show up. I'm telling you, it could be as simple as that. You are a victim of the bigotry you help fuel.
And I want to say,
yes,
Senate Majority Leader Thune, had you just allowed me to the event, I would have been a meek, quiet observer, that this wouldn't be a nationwide story right now.
Yeah, it's not really. Honestly.
And because you moved to ban me, because you moved to shut me up and shut me out, our movement, trended on social media for nearly 24 consecutive hours.
Wow. In a row.
It's one of the top trends in America.
Almost as if fucking Elon Musk was using it to attack Thune. No, you know what? I take it back. He totally gives a shit about you.
More. Even going to Walmart right after the event the next day, I had no fewer than 10 people, Benny, that came up to me and say, I saw what happened to you and it was wrong and shameful.
Wow, that was a busy Walmart.
So Senate Majority Leader Thune, in 24 hours, you helped me reach.
You made me the star of the produce department at Walmart.
More voters than I could have personally knocked in 24.
Somebody just said our movement means Benny too. He is making a lot of lip pursing and subtle smiles. Like he doesn't make faces like this. Like is he doing blue steel right now to impress Scott? Is it just me? Is he yes queening him? Is that what we're thinking? Something just made me I have never seen him do that before. I've never seen a freeze frame of Benny, but I've never seen a clip where he's had somebody who's out on his show. That's interesting. It's just a curious thing. You know, these people would have such better, like happier lives if they would just allow themselves to be themselves. Good Lord.
Months.
He's holding it too. He's nailing that. That is not, he is yes maxing.
More voters.
Oh, and he did a lick lip right before it too.
than I could have personally knocked in 24 months. Thank you kindly, sir.
How
yeah.
how dumb are these people? Because if
You mean elected Republicans? Let me count the ways.
you know just even the smallest amount of PR and image curation, if John Thune had just been staffed correctly, let's say I was working for John Thune and we were in
Yeah, and you were both, I don't know, on a beach somewhere.
this scenario and I wanted to make it go away, I would have had him sit down with you.
Yes.
Why not just take a photo? It doesn't need to be recorded. Maybe like say, hey, can we turn all the phones off?
Off the record.
Yes.
Off the record.
And have a staffer.
Sorry, why the fuck are you that important to him in South Dakota? Again, you have to understand, he's in fucking South Dakota. I almost feel like I'm giving the same advice I give to like Democrats who think you're going to have an AOC in West Virginia. Dude, you're in South Dakota. There's a reason why Matt Schlapp has a fucking wife and gropes dudes on the side, because he has to do the entire country with CPAC. You are not welcome, you dumb motherfucker. It's as simple as he doesn't want to be photographed with gay people, and you're out and known as being gay. Just being in the state makes him creeped out. I'm dead serious. Republicans as a party will use gay people occasionally, but they are specifically anti-gay, especially in the maggot sphere. Otherwise, Benny would just be out.
Snap a photo of John Thune and Scott Presler talking politely together.
Yes, and he would lose a fifth of his voters. Dum-dum.
He's on your level. He sits down next to you, and you guys just chat about the Save America Act. He explains where he's at. You explain where you're at. And like that does more for
that's what it was about.
John Thune's image than any press release, than any $100 million ad buy, right? Like that immediately.
He doesn't need a $100 million ad buy, you dumb motherfucker. He's a senator from South Dakota. Holy shit. Let me hold on. I got to look up. I want to be exact about this. Fuck. South Dakota barely deserves statehood, much less 2 goddamn senators. There are 935,000 people in all of South Dakota. There are 7 million people in the greater Los Angeles area. The mayor of Irvine oversees more people than John Thune does as a senator from an entire goddamn state. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need that kind of money.
And it builds a bridge and it fixes something
that isn't broken.
It's like this big wound for the base.
No, it isn't. The South Dakota Republicans are going to vote for him. They're not going to primary him. They're not going to maggot him out, dumbass. They just aren't.
But instead,
and if they do, they'll replace it with somebody who will equally stick to the rules.
See him palling around. Like I saw him at the UFC 250, having a grand old time partying at the White House. Like I said, a meeting with Scott Presler.
Right. He didn't have to sit down with Scott Presler to get invited to the fucking White House UFC debacle for the big bouncy house on the lawn.
It really is an insult, truly, to the base, and it's so mismanaged and so dumb. And they did go on social media and lie about you, and I can't stand that. I can't stand that when they lie and attack the base. John Cornyn did this to us a few years back, where he like savagely attacked us.
It's terrible. It's almost like you guys are a shit judge of character and have a terrible party that can't hold it together. It's all, you know what I would suggest: get out of governing entirely, because you don't know who to trust. None of the people you think are on your side are. So, I mean, you shouldn't be picking the people who will be in positions of power at all for your own safety, much less the rest of us. Stand down.
And so that's just loser mentality, man. What would you have told him if he had done that? Let's say he'd been smart enough to do that. What would you have told him?
Let's role play this. I'm John Thune. I don't know, a dress shirt, no tie,
Here's my message.
buttoned, just down to my xiphoid process.
And I've had senators, and I'm not going to say who, tell me that I am demoralizing the base and I am.
Sorry, that sounds like the loser mentality. Why not?
Going against.
Say who it is.
It's the president. Well, the president has our back. He even canceled the Housing Act signing and because of the Save America Act. So number one, the president supports this. And number two, I would say, dear Senate Majority Leader Thune, there is no greater demoralization to.
I'm just going to enjoy the fact that both of them are flattering. And also, like he won't sign the housing bill as punishment. Who the fuck does he think he's punishing?
Than for us to have all three branches of government and to have majorities and to not pass the very legislation after what we saw in the 2020 election to ensure that tragedies like that never happen again.
Well, the problem is it will. It will guarantee you fuckers lose because, again, Republicans rely, like Democrats use mail-in voting because it's convenient. Republicans rely on it because they live out in the fucking sticks and they know it. And these Republicans know it. They're trying to save you from yourself, you city-dwelling piece of shit.
If you campaign on closing the border and securing our elections and stopping wars and
if the elections are insecure, how'd you win?
Deportations
at all.
And you do not deliver, then how can we expect to keep those majorities in the 2026 and beyond elections if you do not deliver?
Well, the Save America Act wouldn't even go into effect until next year, shithead.
And really, that's what I would say to him. It is a worse demoralization for us.
It also would lose in the Supreme Court. Look at the mail-in ballot ruling. It would get thrown out, you dumbass. It's a constitutional protection.
To not deliver on behalf of the American people. And if I may say one last thing.
Please. Just because it's the last thing.
Look at the difference between how the Senate is acting right now and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson.
Oh, you mean the guy who sent everybody home so they wouldn't have to rule on the Epstein Transparency Act?
To anyone who says anything, look at what we did with McCarthy. We replaced McCarthy and we got an upgrade. Speaker Mike Johnson, for whatever people will say about him,
is slightly better than McCarthy.
He's about to pass the Save America Act for the fourth time with one of the most narrow majorities.
Look at giving the pouty mouth to Scott. What are you thinking about, Benny? What do you think? What are you thinking about? What's going through your little bespeckled head?
American history in the House, and yet he's able to coalesce Scott Perry and Mike Lawler all in the same spectrum and get that broad, diverse House coalition.
He couldn't even pass the fucking rules or the National Defense Authorization Act, stupid.
Together on bills. And if the House can do it.
And then he lost them on other ones. What are you talking about?
Then I have.
They agree. It has nothing to do with him.
No doubt that the Senate can do it. And it shows the difference in leadership styles. And I hope that our Senate.
No, it doesn't. Republicans, in the House are up for election every 2 fucking years. Senators can sit for 6 and they make legacy decisions. They've got more expensive races. They've got more connections. They build a power structure that beats the shit out of anybody in the House. They've got fewer numbers. There's a bunch of reasons why they're a lot more careful with their votes.
With the few remaining months that we have, because they're about to go on vacation again, Benny. They have pretty much the month of August off. I hope that the Senate gets its act together on behalf of we, the American people.
What an insult to the base to come out.
It's so gross. I know.
After you. What an insult to the intelligence of the American people And,
So bad.
and everybody sees themselves as you, Scott, because this is you're
we are all Scott Pressler now,
representing the will of 90% of the party here, or more. I'm probably more like 100. And to ban you, to make sure that you are the one dissenting voice. I mean, I just don't know how you can come out and say you're for free speech. I don't know how you can come out and say you're for free assembly.
Well, they're Republicans. I don't expect that they would.
If you're doing something like this to Scott Pressler.
If you're doing it to Scott Pressler, you'll do it to anyone.
You can't. It's antithetical.
Yeah, he is totally flirting. Look at his hand. Look at him like they're vibing.
It doesn't work. And people aren't stupid anymore.
Just showing his ring, like, you know how naughty we could be? I'm spinning my ring right now.
People aren't
comes right off.
People don't believe the press releases. Like I saw everything they were saying about you, and these people, the John Thune staffers, were getting dragged and ratioed for their lies.
And community noted. That's the best part. They got community notes on their own.
Look at that smile on. Look how happy he could be in an alternate universe.
Post too because of the videos.
Look at that. I don't see him. No one else. I've never seen him smile like that with any other guest. You know what? I'm taking off the tears of the violin song. You know what I mean? Because look at him. He's just happy to share a moment. Good for you. Good for you.
Because we have Tina Peters coming up next, and I'm like really excited to talk with her. Both of you are just like patriot fighters for free elections. What is the way to get this passed in the remaining months that we have? Because nobody knows what's going to happen in 26.
Thank you.
What is the way to get this passed?
A couple different ways. Some people are advocating for it to be attached to budget reconciliation 3.0. That's perhaps one pass.
Yeah, but it adds to the deficit, so you can't
even talk about changing the language of it to allow for federal grants to the states to provide for IDs to.
Hey, look at that. House Sparks' language being added to the bill. Look at that. Somebody's watching the show. I know people in the White House watch it, and I certainly know people in the Capitol pay for people's IDs, and it's no longer a fucking poll tax, dum-dum. But then you're going to lose Republican voters. Why? Because they think it's the real ID is the mark of the beast.
Beautiful impoverished communities. So budget recon.
Are beautiful impoverished communities?
3.0. Number 2 is the national.
Yeah, but you can't. That's the thing. If you change the language and you add grants, that costs money. That's to win over the votes. That's what's keeping it from. Oh God.
Defense Authorization Act (NDAA). Number 3 is FISA, section
which they didn't pass.
702. All of those, and
didn't they already pass that?
How about a fourth way? Attach it to every other piece of legislation, including banning stock trading. Attach the Save America
Stack trading
Act to every piece of legislation coming out of the House and force the
Senate to send it back.
Senate to vote on it. And last thing.
That doesn't force them to vote on it. They just send it back.
Mike Lee's amendment on budget recon 2.0, which was just proof of citizenship and photo voter ID, that did get 50 votes, including Susan Collins of Maine. Anyone who says that this doesn't have the votes is lying to you and is.
It got 50. It got 50. First of all, you need 51. What they mean is 51 with J.D. Vance as the tiebreaker. But it has to pass with budget reconciliation to do that, and it doesn't qualify. This is so lame.
Tenuous. The Mike Lee amendment on budget recon 2.0 did, in fact, get 50 votes.
We will keep pushing, Scott. We'll keep fighting, and we are.
And by the way, and that part of it will be struck down by the Supreme Court, and it wouldn't go into effect until next year anyways.
Thrilled that you're not in jail somewhere in South Dakota.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm not sure that Sergeant Arm had the ability to do that, but we're really thankful for you, Scott. The audience loves you. The chat loves you.
Benny loves you. Did he say that? Did we miss him saying that? I was just, I mean, I felt like that we saw something we saw Bond. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's so odd, as a Democrat and as a liberal, I'm like, if people are allowed to be who they truly are, they tend not to live in a reactionary, vengeful space. And therefore, I mean, even if you just in the abstract don't believe that, gay people should be allowed to just be open and out and be married and all that kind of stuff, even if you don't believe it for, kind of on a personal level, or on an abstract level, rather, on a personal level, it benefits you in a lot of ways to not have people who are stifled, kept down around you, building their hostility over time. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why people should be able to openly serve in the military, openly serve in intelligence services, especially, is because when they can't, it's one of the biggest areas of leverage against them. If they're going to be blackmailed or they're going to be turned by a foreign spy organization. So just let them be out. And if they go, if you do not give us secrets, we will show pictures of you at your wedding with that other man where you seem very happy. We will show invitation to your wedding to your boss who can't fire you. Shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those reasons why, why the CIA should only hire, I guess, polyamorous people. You're like, we have evidence you have cheated on your wife. We have an open relationship. Son of a bitch, what the fuck are we doing? This freedom thing is really fucking me up, man. So, you think, yeah, well, that's the whole thing about, whether Trump's gay at this point. Again, I won't say his name because yeah. But I had a friend who I haven't seen in a long time. But at one point, he's gay, and he at one point was going through sort of a crisis of identity about it. And he was like, every dude he dated looked like a younger, prettier him. Only slightly. He wasn't that old. It was, like maybe it was 27. He'd date somebody who's 25 who looked just like him. And I was like, dude, I'm not even 100% sure you're gay. I think you're such a narcissist. You want to fuck yourself. Like, everybody you fuck looks like you. This is not a situation where you're like, I just love another man, and for all of his, his personality and his talents and his beauty and what he brings to the world, and I'm sexually attracted to this man, and I'm emotionally in love with this man. I don't think that's it at all, dude. I was just like, I think you leave the house going, God damn, I'm so hot, I want to fuck me. But then, like, yeah, it was Buffalo Bill. That's who it was. It was James Gum. I was friends with James Gum. Right. That's me pretending to tuck. But like, there's there's a little bit of that, that might be going on, in the Republican world. But in this particular case, like, if people are just allowed to be in love with who they're in love with, they tend to not be, I don't know, like a powder keg, effectively. Like, they don't tend to build up to a level of explosion. I'm just saying, yes, Hal levels of narcissism. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Yeah, but mine's different though, because it's one of those things like, how would a lady not want some of this? All right. Mamie was asking about the song. I think I mentioned earlier, but it'll be out on an album in the fall, and I will release it then. And but the other songs, like Redact This, all the AI songs that I do, those are on my SoundCloud that we started for the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide on SoundCloud. Look it up and you'll see Redact This and the gay song, and yeah, a couple of other ones. Bullshit is on there. This is some bullshit is on there. So if you want to listen to those, that's where they are. For free. I'm not charging for them. So if you want to Venmo me or super chat the show to, if you like one of my songs that you hear on here, please, support that part of my life as well, I guess. Donald Trump, Seahawks says, in Canadian $5. Thank you, Canada. Donald Trump getting an MRI before the Great American Fair. Hey, this tanning bed is really loud. Yeah, the idea that he got a that he initially said he got one, and then it was they're like they walked it back. He definitely had an MRI, and they know it, and he knows it. And he may have gone in for another one. They brought him out yesterday, I think, for all of 15 minutes, and again, he looked like hammered shit. I want to see if, I don't think the White House is anything. I'm going to check. Whoops, wrong one. I'm going to check and see if just on the, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Hold on. Maybe this? Nope. Yeah. I was like, I thought I saw something and it was Pac-Man showing his stuff from yesterday. Which I already covered. You're welcome. Yeah, no, he's not. Anyways, okay, hold on. I'll see if the White House has posted anything, but I don't think so. Latest Road to Liberty. Oh, they're just posting it. Nope. The last thing they posted on the White House thing was less than a minute from the Faith and Freedom Conference, and then the farmers in the Rose Garden, and then his little speech to them, which was, again, 21 minutes long. These things are getting shorter. The one at the with the flyover and all that shit at the state fair was like 40 minutes, maybe, if you include the Lee Greenwood song. And then his next one for the farmers was 21 minutes. And then I'll show you what I mean. And this one right here. And then when he spoke in the Oval, it was 15 minutes. Maybe they have them in the lives. Let's look and see if there's a live in here. Yeah, yesterday. This is 14 minutes. You can see it right there. We covered it yesterday. And then the Religious Commission report was 21 minutes. That was 4 days ago. Yeah, they're limiting his time. Yeah, he gave this big long Rambo speech, and that was it. And then everything got shorter ever since. So he's only got one of those in him about every 3 weeks. Anyways, hit the like, share the show. Oh, I forgot. Okay. Thank you, Candy, for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. And Stacy, thank you as well. Reminding everybody to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that greatly. Thank you for the super sticker, James, a video game controller throwing out a face down and with the words "rage quit." Well, that describes the Trump administration officials at this point. We were talking about the postmaster earlier. He goes, that's why the postmaster general wants the state's voter rolls so he can target specific zip codes to reroute and delay those arrivals. Absolutely true. Yep, they were counting on it. And it wasn't going to happen before the election anyways, but they were hoping by 2028 when it's, because after Trump goes, the problem is there's a bunch of folks there's a bunch of folks that are just never going to vote again. Bunch of maggots in QAnon adjacent folks they're just going to go back to where they were before all this. And then Baldano said, my apartment complex had a fire last night. 4 hazmat fire trucks and a fire marshal was there. It was really smoking over here. My Xbox is okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad, or whatever. And obviously you breathe some of the fumes. I can tell from your writing. So please, find a respirator. And make sure that you have plenty of oxygen in your lungs, Walt Thanos. And that's it for Super Chats. Appreciate you guys so much. Hit the like, share the show, subscribe. That part's free. If you're a maggot and you don't like the show, please give us a thumbs down. And I appreciate what you guys write in the chat because it lets the algorithm know that not only am I adorable, but I'm engaging as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We may have to punt the morning show. Well, we definitely do. So I will work on that. I know Phil, we didn't have the major. Phil was going to be on tomorrow, but I think we're going to have to punt that because my girl's got a oncology appointment I got to go to. So just a heads up. So I won't have a regular morning show tomorrow, but I will have an afternoon show. And I hope you guys understand that. Family first, as we always say around here. And I will see you guys much later. And let's see. For Mamie, I'll play this one again on our way out the door. So take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. All right. Hit that like, share the show. Subscribe, will ya? See